Hello everyone, welcome to the channel The Food Professor. Today's topic is morphology and structure of cereal grains. So let's start. The major fundamental anatomical parts include pericarp, endosperm, embryo. Along with these covered grains constitute glumes that are floral envelopes. Brain structure and nutrients. First is bran. It is the edible outer protective layer of a seed and a great source of fiber and vitamins. Second is endosperm. It holds food supply for plant to grow and contains mostly starch and protein. Third is germ. It is the reproductive part of the plant and is rich in vitamins, minerals, protein, and fat. Glume chest. The floral structure sleeves covering coreopsis. Protection against insects, microorganisms, moisture, birds, and weathering. Contribute to increased shelf life during storage and grain viability. It consists of two structures, lemma and palea. Lemma covers the embryo and generally has a pointed end. Palea covers the ventral part of grains. The glumes constitute about 1/3 to 5% of different cereals. Average 20% of the weight of the covered cereals, rice, barley, and oats. High in fiber and ash. High lignin and silica in paddy husk lower the digestibility and feed value for both monogastrics and ruminants. Pericarp. It is the part of kernel that covers the seed. Multilayered structure. Main cellular layers constitute epicarp, mesocarp, and endocarp. Maize and sorghum also contain an external wax layer having protective role. Epicarp epidermis is the outermost layer of the pericarp. Endocarp is subdivided into intermediate, cross, and tube cells. Cross cells are generally located below intermediate cells. Cross cells prevent moisture loss when water is transported, and the tube cells act as a seal, while tube cells are responsible for transporting and distributing the water that is absorbed during germination. Mesocarp and endocarp vary in thickness and number of layers depending on the type of cereal. Here is a diagram showing different layers of pericarp. Constituents of pericarp. It is high in insoluble fiber and ash, xylan, cellulose, lignins, phenolic acid, sterols, some minerals, proteins, starch, only sorghum, commercial cereal, etc. Functions: protect the kernel from insects and microorganisms. Avoid moisture loss. Distribution of water and other nutrients during germination. Protection from birds. Protective phenolics associated with the pericarp cells. Seed coat or testa. It consists of 1 or 2 layers, adheres firmly to the tubular cells. The testa of red winter wheat and sorghum can be highly pigmented. Sorghums express significant amounts of condensed tannins. The seeds with higher tannins are less susceptible to bird attack and damage, molding, and pre-harvest germination or sprouting. However, they may reduce the nutritional quality of the grain by decreasing protein digestibility and inhibit digestive enzymes. Functions of seed coat. It protects the seed against pathogens, insects, and weathering. Constituents, nutrients. Fiber, B vitamins, minerals, phytic acid, phytic bodies, proteins, protein bodies, and phenolic compounds. Lorome. Single cellular layer in most cereals except barley 2-4 layers, rice up to 6 layers, oats 1 or 2. Cells are high in protein, 20%, fat, 20%, fiber, minerals, and B vitamins. The allurone layer synthesizes the necessary enzymes to break down the constituents of the endosperm during germination. It can be red or blue in pigmented maize. In wheat and rice, the allurone layer is removed during becoming part of the bran fraction when producing refined flours or white polished rice. Functions of allurone layer. It produces key enzymes necessary for germination. Constituents: B vitamins, minerals, fat depots, ferrosomes, phytic acid, phytic bodies, proteins, protein bodies, and phenolic compounds. It is devoid of starch. Endosperm. Vitreous endosperm. The mature endosperm contains 4 main structures: cell walls, starch granules, matrix, and protein bodies. Starch granules represent the main proportion of the endosperm, but they are surrounded by a protein matrix that acts as a glue to hold together the internal cell structure. The protein bodies are round and very small compared to the starch granules, dispersed mainly in the cells surrounding the starch granules. Vitreous endosperm. The starch granules are covered by the protein matrix without air spaces, showing angular polygonal shapes. This endosperm shows a vitreous or translucent appearance because light is not diffracted. Flowery endosperm. The flowery endosperm is surrounded by the vitreous endosperm being the innermost part of the kernel. The starch granules are bigger and less angular in shape. The association between starch granules and the protein matrix is weaker, and starch is less surrounded by protein bodies. In the flowery endosperm, the cell walls are thinner and have less protein content, less compact structure. Minuscule air spaces are present. Flowery. Opaque, chalky appearance. The ratio of flowery versus vitreous endosperm determines the hardness and density of the grain, thus affecting the food processing attributes. Here is a diagram showing the structure of maize kernel. Microscopic view of barley endosperm. A picture of microscopic view of maize endosperm. Picture showing microscopic view of rice starch, wheat starch, potato starch, corn starch, and barley starch. Germ or embryo. Germ consists of the embryonic axis and the scutellum. Germ is adhered to the endosperm by the scutellum. Does not have starch, but is high in oil, protein, soluble sugars, ash, B vitamins, and vitamin E. Generates most of the enzymes involved in the germination process. Pearl millet, maize, and sorghum contain the highest proportion of germ. Functions of germ. It provides hormones, enzymes, energy, and nutrients necessary for germination and seedling development. The embryonic axis develops into the radicle and plumule upon germination that will originate the new plant. Constituents. Oil, proteins, albumins and globulins, soluble sugars, vitamins, and minerals. Proteins, oil-soluble sugars, vitamins, and minerals. Here is a picture of wheat. Naked coreopsis with crease. Here is a picture of corn maize. Naked coreopsis without crease. Here is a picture of paddy. Covered coreopsis without crease. Here is a picture of barley. Covered coreopsis with crease. Here is a picture of oat. Covered coreopsis with crease. Right, naked coreopsis with crease. It contains gluten similar to wheat. Grown in some parts of Europe. Production is 14 million tons. Germany 3.8 million tons. Poland 2.9 million tons. Russia 2.1 million tons. Belarus 1.8 million tons. China 0.67 million tons. Triticale man-made cereal. It is man-made cereal made with cross of wheat, Triticum spp, that has high quality and productivity, and rye Sakil cereal, which has high vigor, hardness, and disease resistance. Picture showing a generalized anatomy of pulse seed. Here is a microscopic picture of seed coat testa. It has waxy cuticle layer, epidermis long palisade cell layer, hypodermis hourglass cell, spiller cell, osteoscleroid cells, interior parenchyma, thick walled parenchyma cells. Here is a microscopic picture of cotyledon. P denotes cell wall, M denotes middle lamella, P denotes protein bodies, S denotes starch granules. Hull is different from glutes in case of corn. Pigmented maize has particularly more starch. Potato has largest starch granules and has more swelling capacity. Maize is most used cereal for starch production and also for dextrose, dextrin, maltodextrin, HFCS, invert syrup, and corn syrup.